Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Finance Wize, the show that empowers you to make informed decisions about your money. On today's show, we will be discussing taxes. Many people often cringe at the mention of the word taxes, as it brings us thoughts of calculating income and filling in forms to be rushed to the revenue office before the deadline imposed on you by the regulating authority. This is because a tax is a financial charge or levy imposed on an individual or legal entity by the state. The fact that it is imposed on you means that it is something that you are required to do by law, whether you want to or not. However, understanding what taxes are, how they work, and why they are necessary for the functioning of the economy may help you to realize that paying them may not be such an inconvenience to you after all. Taxes are mainly of two types: direct taxes or indirect taxes. These can be defined as a financial burden on individuals or property for supporting the functioning of the government. But before we get into all this, let's find out what ordinary Namibians have to say about their own taxes.
What are taxes?
Taxes, I think it's the extra amount that you pay on certain goods that you purchase and so forth.
Taxes pay as you earn, as money as you pay, and then you must pay the rest in the government.
Taxes are levies or fees charged by the state to collect revenue in order to provide public goods and services.
Name one type of tax that you know of.
Income tax.
Pay as you earn, VAT, customs duties and levies, those are all types of taxes.
Do you find it difficult or easy to fill in your own tax every year?
No, I don't fill my tax enough. I've got someone who will do it for me.
Somehow difficult because you don't really understand what you're filling in. You don't know much. Yeah.
Okay. What confuses you about taxes?
The calculations and the amounts. Because, for instance, on your salary, a certain salary you pay a certain amount, and some people's salary you don't pay. So, what's the difference? Why should some pay and some don't?
That you'll have to pay it. Come on. What happens with the money that you pay for an extra bottle of water, that extra $2? What happens to it?
Say, as a person that pays income tax, I would like to know where my money goes to, because I always get the sense of feeling that it's just money that you throw away, but you never actually get to see where it actually goes to.
No, nothing so far. I understand fully what it means about taxes. Yeah.
Taxes cannot be considered as voluntary payments or donations, but rather are enforced contributions which are extracted as per legislative authority government has. Government imposes this type of enforced contribution under different names such as toll, duty, custom, aid, excise, subsidy, or other similar names. The funds available through taxation are used by governments and their departments to carry out many functions. These functions include expenditures on law and public order enforcement, such as the police force, development of economic infrastructure, social engineering, public works, and operations of government itself. Nowadays, most governments use taxes for funding public welfare and services such as pensions for elderly people, public transportation, education, and the healthcare systems. In addition, taxes are applied to influence macroeconomic performance of the economy or to modify patterns of employment or consumption within the economy. Patterns are modified by making some classes of transaction more or less attractive in the economy. The next training clip focuses on the main purposes of taxes, and later we will also focus on the taxes applied in the Namibian economy. Government revenue in all countries is generated from a number of sources using various mechanisms. In Namibia, a major portion of government revenue is generated through taxation. The major tax sources in Namibia are taxes on international trade, mainly from the Southern African Customs Union or SACU revenue, from taxes on income and profits, and from domestic taxes on goods and services known as sales tax. Namibian residents, with some exceptions, are only taxed on their Namibian income at a rate of between 0 and 37%, depending on which tax bracket they fall into. Generally, the more income you make, the higher your tax rate as a percentage of your income. As at January 2011, anyone earning less than 40,000 Namibian dollars per annum is not subject to income tax. There are certain tax exemptions on interest that some persons, other than companies, can benefit from. These include interest on government stock or securities, including treasury bills, post office savings interest, and foreign interest. Should you invest in the stock market, local and foreign dividends are exempt in the hands of Namibian residents. However, interest earned from unit trusts is subject to a final 10% withholding tax, except if payable to Namibian entities which are normally exempt from tax, for example, pension funds. Taxation is used to raise money to spend on hospitals, schools, roads, and on other indirect government functions like the justice system or good regulation. Taxation is also used for wealth redistribution purposes. Normally, it means the transfer of wealth from richer sections of society to the poorer sections. This function is uniformly accepted across most democracies, but the extent to which transfer of wealth should take place has remained an issue of debate in many countries. Taxes are imposed frequently to address externalities or antisocial behavior. For example, taxation is often applied on tobacco to discourage smoking and on alcoholic beverages to discourage the abuse of alcohol. These are often referred to as sin taxes, and some people advocate that such policies are preventative measures. There are certain principles which are generally accepted as an indicator of an efficient taxation system. An efficient taxation system should do as little harm as possible, minimizing the deadweight burden or loss of taxes. Deadweight burden of taxes occurs when the total harm resulting from a taxation is more than the actual revenue generated. For example, if the tax on a good or service is too high, the quantity sold of that good or service will decrease as a result. To minimize the deadweight burden of taxes, it is necessary to have a broad tax base and low tax rates, and to internalize externalities. The tax base is the group of incomes on which direct and indirect taxes and transactions are levied. Another principle of an efficient taxation system is that it should be sensitive to distributional considerations. The tax burden should be distributed fairly among people and should be simple so that the system is straightforward and feasible to understand. Namibia has a source-based system of taxation, with the result that Namibian residents are, with some exceptions, only taxed on their Namibian income, while foreign residents are taxed only on the income generated within Namibia. Now we talk to some of the institutions that deal with taxes in Namibia on a regular basis to gain some more clarity on the subject as relates to the Namibian context.
My name is Mr. Aldrin Manyando. I'm a public relations officer at the Ministry of Finance. I would define taxes as a compulsory financial charge that is levied by government upon taxpayers. And a taxpayer can be an individual, It can be a legal entity like companies and CCs, closed corporations. And taxes varies into two. For example, we have got direct and indirect taxes. And these are payable in the form of money. So this tax is not a voluntary thing. It is imposed by government. It is an obligation of each and every taxpayer to honor his or her tax obligation. So this is an enforced contribution that comes to the state revenue fund. All this money is pulled together into the state revenue fund, and it is payable from individuals. There are major taxes that are enforced in Namibia. One of them, the most common one, which is known to everybody, is the income tax for those that are working and they earn an income. And we also have value-added tax, that is for businesses. We also have transfer duties and also stamp duties. Let me start with the one which is commonly known to everybody, that is income tax. This type of tax is a direct tax that is imposed on the income received by an individual or an entity. Generally, the tax is imposed on the net profits from businesses, or we call them net gains or other income. Income tax is paid according to taxpayers' taxable income under the Income Tax Act number 24 of 1981 as amended. So anybody who earns an income, the current threshold is currently 40,000 per annum. So anybody who earns an income above 40,000 is liable to pay this income tax. And the Namibian income tax is called the progressive tax system, whereby we call it the pay as you earn. The more you earn, the more taxes is liable or is due to you. The second one is the one we call value-added tax. This one is an indirect tax levied on transactions. VAT, as it's commonly known, applies to transactions in which the then born end users through taxations of transactions into which they enter. The current VAT rate is set at 15%. That is the imposed under the VAT Act. This means that all taxable goods and services, it also applies not only to goods but also services, they are subject to the VAT at the rate of 15%. And then the third one is the transfer duty. This one is imposed under the Transfer Duty Act, and it consists of a charge for immovable properties. For example, if you buy a house, during the transaction of the transfer of, if the house is transferred to become your property, during the processing of those applications, you would normally pay the transfer duties. And then the other one is the stamp duties. It is also an indirect tax levied on various instruments, for example, written documents. Stamp duties is payable on lease agreements. For example, if you have to sign a lease agreement with a person who is renting from you, you will have to buy stamp duties, normally at the post office. So these are just some few examples of taxes that I can elaborate on.
If you are interested in a career involving taxes, you may try your hand at becoming an auditor. We spoke to some auditing firms operating in the Namibian market in order to understand their work a little bit better.
My name is Claudia Shipena. I'm an account assistant at Crystal & Associates Accounting Services. The accountant basically does compile information and analyze financial information to prepare reports such as budgets and basically all related accounting services. With this, we will need to do accounting, qualification in accounting, which can be done at University of Namibia or Polytechnic. You also need to experience somehow also matters in this tax department. When it comes to tax, yeah, experience really matters. The personality, one has to be honest. In accounting, one has to be honest and professional, act professionally at all times. Avoid negative influences, be able to present information in an orderly manner, in an honest manner. The challenges actually comes in with our SMEs who are not really don't have much information at their disposal on how to deal with taxes. For example, the requirement of information where one should base the preparation of financial statement. For example, the properties have to be in the name of the company, the tax invoices have to be in the name of the company. You will find some SMEs, they don't put their names on their information, on their documents. So it's quite challenging that one has to sometimes go and advise this SME that when you are buying something in the name of the company, the name of the company must appear on that document, which is actually what I find more challenging.
Now let's see how our resident investor Peter deals with tax issues of his own.
Go! Go Peter! Go Peter! Yo, Peter's in the building. Yo, Peter's in the building.
Hey, Peter.
Hey, Roger, how's it?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man.
All right.
Want me to offer you a cool drink?
Oh, please, man.
Yeah.
It's Babalas also.
Yeah. How's all things?
Things are all right, man.
Okay.
How's the business?
The business is going well, my friends. I even saved up $100,000. I was thinking of, opening up a new place, maybe in the north or somewhere there, Yeah, but everything is going well. Tell me, how is John? I don't see that guy anymore. I even see his place are closed.
Trouble with the law and stuff.
Hey, Sam, how's it?
Jay's his friendly, man.
What's up, man?
Good, man, how's it?
That's all
But
good.
you owe me money, man.
Yeah, but I'll give you back, man.
When? No, man.
End of the
Every
month.
day you're saying every month, end of the month.
You know almost that swiping never work off mine anyway, quite.
Come on. Where's John, your friend?
Joe, you never heard the story? Oh, that guy is locked up, my friend.
You want cool drink or what?
Yeah, man.
But you owe me money, it's okay.
Where's
John? Where's John?
That guy's in jail, man.
For what?
Oh, he didn't. Apparently, his cocoa shop is even closed. He said the guy didn't pay taxes.
You can go to jail for not paying taxes.
You're not paying taxes, you. When you
don't-
register your business, you fill in must form for taxes.
Yeah, but those taxes thing, man, they're taking a lot of money, man.
My friend.
No, but I don't understand this tax story, man.
You'll go to jail,
Go to jail, my friend. Ask Roger.
I just don't understand because I can't make a lot of profit and still give money for tax. How does that work?
My friend.
No, man, someone must explain these things to me, man. So really, I need to understand this tax story, man.
Wait, I know somebody. That lady, Sandra. You know that one from the club the other day?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that girl, Sandra.
Oh, yeah, she does. Sandra does those things.
She does those things?
Yeah. And
She's an advisor?
She's an investment advisor.
She also
that one.
gives other type of advice, but yeah.
Okay. Is she married?
That one.
But you, I think you would
but
know.
this,
This guy, you would know, man. You're very clever, you. I know. What do you even? Where did you get the card?
You know.
You also got service and shit.
Okay.
No, I went for some advice, you know.
What advice?
Okay.
Just advice, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll call him. I'll definitely call him and I'll ask him because I need to understand this tax story. I don't want to go to jail.
My friend,
My business. Who's gonna run my business if I'm in jail? But I have to. This tax story I must find out. Anyway, what's the plan for tonight?
My friend, well, what are we doing tonight? Maybe just go watch a soccer game or something.
Soccer game?
Yeah.
You guys are boring, man. We're not meeting any ladies this tonight.
Go Peter. Go Peter. Yo, Peter's in the building. Yo, Peter's in the building.
Hi, Sandra. Yeah, it's Peter here. I got your details or a card from a friend of mine. Told me that you can give me advice on investment. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, he told me. But I was more thinking of tax advice in Texas, yeah. Yeah, I'm a registered taxpayer. I pay my tax. It's just that I want to know because I have a lot of money that I saved up and I want to invest the money, but I want the least tax implications. So I just want you to give me options. What are the best options so I don't have to pay a lot of tax? Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you can, yeah. We can always meet up whenever you're free. Yeah, during the weekend. What do you think about during the weekend? Oh, you'll be busy. Okay. After the next week? Oh, yeah. I'm always free on Wednesdays. That's my day off that I rest. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine with Wednesday. Wednesday is fine with me. Okay. Yeah, where do you want us to meet up? Yeah, okay, at your place is fine. No problem. Yeah, you can just send me the directions, and I'll call you even on Wednesday, and I'll come through to your place. Okay. Thank you very much, Sandra. Have a good day yourself. Bye. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for making time for me, man.
Yes, no problem. How can I help you?
You can actually help me with tax, that's why I'm here. Sarah, I actually saved up about $100,000 and I would like to make an investment with the least tax implications. I don't want to pay a lot of tax on my investment. How do I go about this?
Well, sir, there are a number of investment options you would look at. If you would like to pay no tax on your investments, you could look into government stock or securities. An example of this will be government bonds and treasury bills. You need to invest in multiples of 10,000s, but the interest earned on your investments will not be subjected to tax. Although the interest rate is not very high, it is a very safe and stable investment option, especially for short-term purposes. We also have second options, which will be to consider investment in companies listed on the stock exchange. If you buy shares in your listed companies, you'll no need to pay tax on the dividends you receive from these companies. But remember, shares can be very volatile and their prices can fluctuate, which will expose you to the risk of losing some of your investments. It is best to invest over a long period of time when it comes to shares.
That is actually also good, but I heard about this. Investing in unit trust. What do you think about that option?
A unit trust is a good consideration as an investment option. You will need to pay a final withholding tax of 10% on interest earned from unit trust investments. Therefore, a unit trust does not fit into the definition of tax-free investment options.
Okay, I sort of understand all the things that you told me now. But I think the best option for me is just to invest my money in government security. But thanks a lot anyway, Sarah. Hopefully I can call you up again when I don't understand this tax story.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Peter. Go Peter. Yo, Peter's in the building. Yo, Peter's in the building.
While arguments exist regarding taxation, these are more about the degree of taxation rather than being about taxation in itself. And most people support the view that taxes are beneficial for society and can be used for the benefit of the majority of the population. Please remember that the points made in this program are not meant to give you personal advice. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to investing. The point of this show is to give you a more tangible look at how an investor might implement the ideas discussed. There are many other alternatives out there, and we strongly encourage you to explore all of them and see what works best for you. For the average investor, the smart route still includes saving regularly, keeping investment expenses down, and being in the market for the long term. Whatever you do, keep the principles we've learned in mind and never stop trying to learn more. This is Dantokos Jimmy Malani, encouraging you to get finance-wise.